Hello students. So I'm back with another video, methods of charging. Earlier we studied the properties of charges, and we came to know that the charges can be added as real numbers. Charges are quantized, that they are all integer multiples of the most basic charge, that is E, and charges though can be created as well as destroyed, but the net charge of the system remains constant. That was the third property. Now today we'll be talking about methods of charging. How many ways are there with the help of which you can charge an object? Okay, and what it takes to charge an object. These will be our objectives for the today's video. So let's begin our video. So methods of charging. Okay, if you want to make an object charged, electrons help you to do that. Okay, the transfer of electrons can help you to make anything charged, or anything charged or chargeless. Okay, we'll be seeing them one by one. So there are basically three methods of charging. Number one, charging by friction. Number two, charging by induction. And number three, charging by conduction. Okay, there are three methods by which you can charge any object: by friction, by induction, and by conduction. We'll see one by one each of them. Let's start with charging by friction. When you rub two bodies, a particular set of bodies, against each other, what happens is, by rubbing you provide energy, and when you rub two bodies against each other, one body loses electrons while the other one gains electrons. So this is called charging by friction. The body which loses electrons, because it has lost electrons, it becomes positively charged, and the body which gains electrons becomes negatively charged, because we know that electrons are the charge carriers, negative charge carriers. Electrons are negative charge carriers. So here, with the help of transfer of electrons, you can make one body positively charged and another body negatively charged, equally negatively charged. Okay, here you cannot take any two bodies. There needs to be a particular set of bodies. Okay, for example, if you have a glass rod and you have a silk cloth, if you rub them against each other, you'll find that the glass rod acquires positive charge while the silk cloth acquires negative charge. Instead of glass rod, if you have plastic rod and you rub it with cat's fur, you'll find that the plastic rod acquires negative charge while the cat's fur acquires positive charge. Okay, so charging by friction can take place for particular sets of bodies, and in this method you can charge conductors as well as insulators. Okay, in case of insulators we call it localized charging, because once the body which is an insulator gains or loses electrons, okay, the charged part of that body is quite localized. That means the charges will not get distributed throughout the body. Okay, so let's see what it means. So charging by friction. Charging by friction. When a particular pair of bodies are rubbed against each other, one of them loses electrons and turns. If one loses electrons, it will turn, of course, positively charged. While the other body gains electrons and becomes negatively charged. Okay, and this method is called charging by friction. Okay, so when a particular pair of bodies are rubbed against each other, one of them loses electrons and turns positively charged, while the other body gains electrons and becomes negatively charged. Okay, here only electrons can be transferred in this method. Only electrons can be transferred. We know, a body is made up of billions of billions of billions of atoms, and each atom consists of a nucleus and electrons, and the nucleus has got protons in it. But the protons cannot come out of the nucleus when you rub two bodies, because on rubbing the energy provided is too less to bring out a proton from the nucleus. So only electrons can transfer from one body to another. One loses them and the other one gains them. Okay, one more thing is, when you lose electrons, you also lose mass of the electrons. So the body which loses electrons becomes lighter, and the body which gains electrons becomes heavier. And if one becomes lighter, then of course the weight becomes less, and if one becomes heavier, then of course the weight becomes more. So you can say the body which loses electrons becomes lighter. What it implies? Its mass comes down. What it implies? Its weight comes down. Okay, it becomes lighter, and the body which gains electrons becomes heavier, and the body which the body which gains electrons becomes heavier. It implies mass increases. It also implies weight also increases. Hope you have found out this video